I'm starting to get an idea why there's so many shady things happening in dungeons. Like there's so much emphasis on the idea that people like are cutthroat in dungeons and that there's all these cases of people disappearing, all these shady stories. We're so lucky to be in a guild because we don't have to deal with like all these bad stories of people killing each other, the false rankers, all this kind of stuff about how people are killing each other in dungeons. Why is it happening? I don't know. Maybe because they suck at investigating these things. Like that was one of my jokes that I made with like what was it, third episode I think it was, where it had it kind of open up with Jinwoo and these guys show up to investigate the fact that yes, in this double dungeon somehow he made it out and they asked him no questions. This guy literally survived this dungeon and no questions asked. They just said touch this crystal ball, and it happens the same here where you have Jinwoo and Jinho come out of the dungeon and literally all the lady says is, "Oh, so you must have beat it solo and he ran and hide." That's not how you investigate. You ask them what happened. You don't go, well, it's obviously you did it and you just ran and hide. Okay, got it. You're not going to ask any questions? It's so dumb. It's so dumb. And again, that's probably why people are disappearing in dungeons, because they're not investigating anything. Anyways, I don't know. They could have another investigation. I'm sure there will be. It kind of insinuated at the very end of the episode that this guy's brother, I think that was the guy's brother, maybe he's going to get involved now because his brother's dead and he's going to want to figure out what happened. Who knows? But anyways, decent episode. I did really like this segment towards the later part with the kicking in of the music. Always love when you get some vocals inside of a show, especially when something technically very impactful is happening. I will say that I'm a little bit question mark on Jinwoo's kind of transformation into being technically a killer now. I don't know that I quite felt it. There was a little sense in there that why I think they handle it decently well, but I think that transformation is it's always a shady area. Like, how do you handle somebody taking a life for the first time? How do you handle somebody essentially killing? What is their mindset like? All that kind of stuff is always a massive question mark. I think it's justified. I have no questions there. I have no questions there. It's literally like justified. But it is always that question mark of how they handle that and how it goes forward. And it sort of got me questioning that they could possibly go in the direction of what's the chances that Jinwoo Sung will go in the route of essentially it becoming a game to him. I guess that's the best way to put it. If this all becomes a game to him, if this is a quest, I have to complete the objective. So I guess it'll come down to what happens next. And I like how they're already kind of emphasizing heavily what I sort of predicted it was going the route of is, yes, this is a system or the statues or whatever it was that is trying to build him up. And sure enough, in this situation, it sort of proves that in the idea of you're going to die. Here's a quest. Take care of it. Like it's almost like it's nudging him. Take care of the situation. You cannot die here. And he's even accepting it. It doesn't want me to die. It wants me to get stronger. The system is using me. If I'm going to get used, I might as well use the system. Like if this is how it's going to be, I'll use it for my own advantage as well, which I guess is probably going to be the bigger picture. I'm going to assume that's where the story eventually goes is whenever that being that gave him this power, again, that was question mark of why is something in a dungeon making him stronger so that he can destroy the dungeons. Again, my assumption is going to be is that it's probably like a battle of gods, like this whole system, this other world where the dungeons are at. There's gods and they maybe don't like each other. And so they're trying to build up one of these players to essentially kill somebody that they don't like. And so, yes, it's using it. It's using him and getting him stronger so that eventually he can go and kill whoever else. And in his mindset, it is, okay, if you're going to do that, I'll use it to benefit myself. It makes perfect sense. So anyways, yes, the episode itself, them in there, he takes down the spider. Pretty awesome animation. Just jumping all over the place, flipping and dipping, slicing and dicing. There was kind of one oddity here in the anime. They never said bleed effect in the anime. The manhwa does technically kind of emphasize that he's causing a bleed effect. And that technically comes into play later on when he's fighting the other guys. When I was watching the anime, it suddenly out of nowhere, the guys start like gushing blood out of their eyeballs and falling over. And I'm like, is that what paralyzed does to humans? Like, it didn't make any sense. Like, there's a life steal. I guess it could have been a life steal and a paralyze. But in actuality, I don't know. I'm guessing it's an effect of his attacks. He's causing a bleed effect. Not that the dagger itself has a bleed effect. But yeah, that's what he's doing is he's causing a bleed effect and he causes a bleed effect upon them. But yes, I'm glad that this is something that actually came back up again. It was that aspect of like, okay, he has this reward that is full recovery. My question mark at the time was like, I wonder if this is going to be like you acquired the skill recovery. But no, it was like a one-time use reward. Sure enough, what my question mark in the last episode was like, I wonder if he never did the jog part, because when we left off that quest, he hadn't done the jog yet, and then he went off and did this whole job. And my joke that I made at the time is, watch, he goes this dungeon, everything happens, he comes out of the dungeon, and suddenly he's like, well, that was a great dungeon, and suddenly it pops up saying, you did not do your running, and then it penalizes him. No, in actuality, he just had it sitting there. He procrastinated it, and sure enough, it became beneficial. It's kind of one of those things of like, I wonder if there's a limit to when he could actually accept it. Like, it is one of those cases that if he doesn't accept the rewards, he'll get penalized, or if it just goes away. So yes, that does make sense. Do your quest, go to a dungeon, you get a free heal. It's super cool how at least something like that the writer has kind of fully thought out. Like, this can be something that I can use later on. So yeah, he used that in order to regenerate himself, take down the boss. During the time that he's fighting, Jinwoo, the stuff around him kind of bugged me. I get that they're trying to play out this rookie. He's a rookie. He's panicking. He doesn't know how to respond to things. He's doing cool things, like, again, the whole thing with the contract with Jinwoo Song, trying to help him out with that. But at the same time, like, just sitting there, like, you're literally in a situation where these guys betrayed you. They stuck you in this dungeon. You're essentially up against a boss that you, in his mind, never going to be able to beat this thing. We're dead. Plain and simple. But then he's just sitting there going, oh, what is Sung doing? Oh, that reminds me of the Fakers. And it's like, why is this guy thinking about all this dumb stuff when literally he's in a life or death situation? It's fine. It was a reason to expedition dump that there's the existence of people that apparently fake their rank, or they have the ability to lower their power so that they can fake their rank, get into lower dungeons and kill people. I don't know. The world takes all people. The faker rankers, that, I guess, like, there's enough of them that they have a name for it. I mean, I can understand that, like, there was one person that was a psychopath and he realized that he could. It doesn't make any sense logically. Okay, so in this world, you essentially have people, they will awaken to their powers, they will go into this system, they will touch this crystal ball, it will tell them what their rank is, it'll tell them what their mana is, whatever, and then they get assigned their rank. So the assumption is that the moment that they awaken, like Jinwoo Song, he was a construction worker and suddenly went, that little shock thing, like Dragon Ball Z, this shock thing happens, and he goes, oh, I think I awakened. And I guess at that point, some people can go, oh, I awakened to the ability to lower my mana, so I'm going to lower it before I go in there and touch the thing. That way I can kill people in dungeons. I guess, like, that logic is a little bit of a stretch for me. That logic is I guess they can go in there, touch the ball, and be given, like, a C rank or something like that, but then they get the knowledge that, oh, yeah, I can lower my rank. And then they go in there and get reevaluated, and it goes, oh, wow, some reason you lowered your rank. But that would be like a massive question mark, because that would be almost like a reawakening. I don't know. I'm thinking too much of it. It just sounds dumb. Like, when that whole thing came up, I'm like, there's people like that, I guess. I mean, I could see one or two people in, thousands of years, but making a name for it kind of insinuates that there's a lot of people that are nuts enough that they're going to lower their rank, go into lower rank dungeons just to kill people. All right, moving on. Moving on. I just wish I guess my whole point here is I wish there was another explanation of why somebody would do that. Besides somebody just being a psychopath that wants to kill people in dungeons. That just seems like a bit of a stretch for somebody to go out of their way to do. I mean, you can kill, again, the idea is that things happen in dungeons and nobody ever knows, and so it's a really good way to be able to kill people, but still, whatever. But yeah, he kills the spider, and immediately Jinwoo was like, Aniki, boss, what do you want me to do, boss? Boss, here, get some water, boss. Can I take your coat, boss? Like, he instantaneously becomes like a Yakuza pawn, just kind of like, what do you want to do, boss? That was funny. In the manhwa, they bust through the entrance where they caved it in, so it was kind of odd they changed it to where they came out of the upper tunnels, so that was how they came back in, whereas... Yeah, anyways. And yes, they give Jinwoo the option to join them as an accomplice. I don't know. I don't think he was planning on that. I think he was just trying to figure it out, because it kind of insinuates that, yes, he sees, okay, this spider's dead. And yeah, all guys are joking like, man, this spider was probably weaker than we thought it was. If they can kill it, that thing must have just been super weak or something. But Dong-seok is like, no, Jinwoo has some really expensive armor. Like, his father is a boss. So... probably something about his armor, his equipment, that is making him super powerful. So it's kind of one of those things where I think he was trying to suss it out, like figure out what can he do. Okay, kill Jinwoo. Like, kill him really quickly, and then we'll get an idea of what his armor actually is. I don't. It could have been that he was trying to get him under his wing, and again, I think it's more the fact that he was afraid of what kind of equipment that Jinho has, because this shouldn't have happened. He literally just sold this boss. But yeah, of course, Jinho didn't do it. The manhwa sort of had where Jinho was walking over towards Jinwo. He's like, Jinwo was thinking about how, it makes sense. I understand that you're going to betray me. You're going to betray me because I'm weaker. It makes sense. They didn't, for some reason, didn't have that in the anime. But yeah, Sung did have some thoughts there that he was going to betray him. But it was like funny because I'm like, yeah, I can see why Jinho would do this. Like, he's going to be like, I'm not going to betray this guy. Ain't no way in hell. You're not going to get me to kill him because he's a good dude. We've already established that Jinho is a good dude. But there was a side of me that's like, yeah, but can you take it? Like, there's a side of me that's like, yeah, but he's also not going to betray Jinwo because he just watched him solo a boss. Like, putting aside whether or not he's a good person, you have two parties. Put aside everything that involved in this situation. You have two parties here. This one guy that just sold an extremely powerful boss, and then you have this group over here that literally left you to dead and ran off. I think he's gonna kill them. I'd rather be on this side of the fight. What I just seen him do, I'm gonna be on this party. But yeah, it was just because he's a cool dude. But yeah, this is where we get Jinwo getting his first quest to kill people. I'm just saying that. I'm assuming that later on he's probably going to have to do this again. I don't have any spoilers for you guys. I just read up to where the anime ends every episode. But yeah, he gets knocked back. In the manhwa, it specifically says, why is he still alive? Are you getting weaker? The mage literally goes, no, I used full power. He should not be alive. How did I miss? That was the only question mark that he had. Did I miss? But he does emphasize here, no, I'm not weaker. I literally used the highest power that I could possibly do. It kind of shows Jinwo's HP afterwards. He's like half HP, but that could partially be because he was fighting the spider. But it was a powerful hit. But no, Jinwo gets his quest. His quest to kill 6 in the anime. I don't know why they changed it from 8 to 6, but it's 6 in the anime. There's 6 people there. It was kind of interesting to me for some reason. I do this, that it said specifically 6. So that means that it did not see Jinho as a threat, nor did the system want Jinho out. Because this could have created a massive conundrum if it said 7. Because that would imply like the system does not want Jinho to be alive to be a witness, so to speak. But essentially, yes, it's telling him, kill these 6 guys because they are people seeking to kill the player. They want to kill Jinho. Not they want to kill both of you, that they just want to kill you. And that can't happen. The system itself is wanting to get stronger, but additionally doesn't want him dead. Doesn't want him dying. So you need to kill these 6 well, it's interesting because the actual text in the anime says defeat them. And I was curious if it's going to turn into a thing where all he had to do was just knock them out. But no, what he says, no, they want me to kill. But I will be curious if later on, if it will pop up this, or somebody, like the system itself talks to him later on or something like that, and he's like, you made me kill 6 people. No, we told you to defeat them. You chose to kill them. I wonder if it's going to be like one of those like little like, manipulation things. Like, no, I didn't actually say that. I said to defeat them. You chose to kill them. So you lopped their heads off. You made them bleed. You could have just knocked them out. I'd be curious about that. That would be like a super twisted thing to kind of throw right back in his face. And yes, technically be a lot more interesting, in my opinion. But yeah, like I said, he bleeds, paralyzes everything, all these guys, takes them all out, slicing them up. It was kind of interesting that one guy kind of puts his arm around him and he just kind of goes casually. And I was like, why would you let him do that? And yes, technically it was because they didn't know he had a weapon. Takes them all out, goes to Dong-sok. Dong-sok says, whatever, I have the ability to reinforce myself. He's not going to be able to hit me with that. Whatever poison he's doing there, he's not going to hurt me. He just slams his head down, cuts his head off. It was kind of interesting to have that little brief moment of like trying to panic and trying to give him money. I'll throw money at the issue. Hopefully he'll stop. No, you're not going to get away with it. You just said like everything that happens in Dungeon Vegas stays in Dungeon Vegas. Cut it off. And then yes, the following scene where he goes out with Jinho and the lady literally asks no questions, but instead makes her assumptions and writes down on the report and walks away because for some reason the Hunter Association sucks at investigating. I don't know. They might investigate something later on. I did like a little bit of the inner conflict that's kind of happening within Jung Ho Sung during this entire thing, because it is an aspect of, I think I got too caught up in the leveling and this whole process and getting stronger and figuring out the system itself that I forgot the most important thing, The most important thing about dungeons themselves, the thing that I had pounded in my head for so many years, I forgot. The fact of survival of the fittest. The fact of the weak get exploited. Remembering all those moments, especially like with the double dungeon, being left behind to dead, all that kind of stuff. Because I'm weak, they're going to leave me to die. Because I'm weak, Jin Ho Yo is going to betray me and side with them. Because I'm weak, they're going to kill me so they can exploit me and take all the money in this dungeon. That is a major point of this whole thing, is realizing that. But at the same time, coming to that realization in front of Dong Suk that I'm not weak. You're weak. Because that's how this works. Because you're hunters, you guys are aware that you can get hunted too. Because you are weaker than me, and you were going to kill me because I was weak, obviously I can kill you because you're weak. It's coming to that realization. And it is, again, a question mark as to how well this writer handles that. Because, again, that's a big choice. That is a massive choice. And the routes that it can go is the aspect of, yes, he could become traumatized by this. He could become, next scene, he's puking on the ground or puking in the toilet because he's realizing all these memories of killing guys. Oh, that sensation of slicing them. All that stuff can come into his head. Or it can go the route of, it's a game and I'm losing touch of reality. Or just simply, it is what it is. I'm going to use a system because I got to get stronger, shrug, walk away, which they'll probably go. I don't know. We'll see. Anyhow, that's my thoughts on episode 6 of Solo Leveling. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, make sure to hit that like button down below. Comment, let me know what you thought of the episode. Additionally, if you're new to the channel, make sure that subscribe button to get my content. And news, reviews, first impressions, top list. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you want to support the channel more, I have Patreon link, tips link, super thanks, membership button down below. Greatly appreciate what it does, and y'all take care.